Welcome to the Caribbean Edge, our first episode for 2021. My name is Dawn Wilson. I'm your host for today as we talk about sisterhood. And I have some fabulous queens that join me tonight for the conversation. So I'm so happy you are all here on this magical and inspirational night of January 6, 2021. So happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for sharing this episode. So I'm going to have the guests just introduce themselves as we get into the conversation. Let's start with Miss Karen Blake. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Karen Blake, and I live in New York. I'm a court reporter, practicing stenography for 20 years, and welcome.
Thank you, Karen. And we're going to find out from you what sisterhood means to you tonight. So we're all going to dig deep and talk about all the special people that have impacted us. So welcome very much. And one of the things about sisterhood is time is the most important thing to us as sisters. So I want to thank you all for the time that you're spending with us today and the viewers. So Miss Isna, welcome back your second time on TCE.
Yes, I'm so grateful to have been invited again, Dawn. I am so abundantly grateful for this year. And I am thankful for Michelle Holson, who's not pictured, but for the invite. And my name is Isna Tianti. I am originally from Cleveland, Ohio, raised in California, but now implant to Atlanta. And I am the owner of It's Unlimited LLC, where my mission is to inspire through sharing everything artistically, creatively.
Well, thank you. And I saw some of your artwork today on Facebook. I actually shared it. So, wow, you're doing amazing work. And we're going to have to share it in the Caribbean Edge so people can check out your work as well. Such a pleasure to have you. And I know you have something special for us at the end of the show. So I can't wait for the viewers to experience what we experienced in the waiting room.
All right. Thank you, Dawn.
You're welcome. And Attorney Emery Clarke, welcome. Nice to have you.
Thank you so much, Dawn, for this warm invitation. And I'm looking forward to the evening. I'm all about sisterhood because trust me, where I am today without good sisters, I wouldn't be. And so I'm a local attorney in Fort Lauderdale area. I have my own practice with another sister, and we've been together for over 20-something years. And I am here mostly in the capacity tonight by Jamaican Women of Florida. I was asked to be here to really talk about that strong sisterhood. I have one of my sisters also here with me, Hilary Creary. We've been on this journey for like 7 years, and it's been a great sisterhood. There are times that we have all gone through different things in our lives, and this sisterhood has been just phenomenal. And on a personal level, you know, when I lost my mother suddenly 2 years ago, I really experienced firsthand the strength of sisterhood. And then 8 months after my mom passed, last year, my older brother by 4 years passed. Once again, the sisterhood came through for me. So I'm big about sisterhood support, and I'm just excited to be here with you all. And I'm looking forward to hopefully having some more sisters after this event. Love you all already, okay?
Absolutely. And we're so sorry to hear about your losses. I mean, heartfelt, there are no words. I'm always at a loss for words when it comes to losing loved ones and friends, but my heart goes out to you, and so glad that you have sisters to help us pull us through these times, because you need it. There's something about sisterhood that men can't do for us. Sorry, all my guy friends. But it's true. Men and women, we sometimes speak different languages, and there are times even your husband or your boyfriend or your soulmate is just not the person you need. So thank you for bringing that up. And Jamaica Women of Florida, so proud to have you both on here. representing, because I know you're doing some amazing things, and some of the women on your team are women that I personally know, hang out with, and are thankful to call sisters as well. So thank you. So Miss Hilary, looks like we already introduced you. Tell us about you.
Well, what more is there to say, right? So I'm also an attorney. I'm a family law attorney, though. I am also a founding member of the Jamaican Women of Florida organization. And this is our 13th year. So we've been doing this a while. And I think my foundation in sisterhood started with the fact that I have, 5 sisters. And so I grew up in a house full of sisters. And for me, those were the primary relationships in my life, my actual biological sisters. And then I'm also on the board of the Caribbean Bar Association, which is another sisterhood. And I think a big part for me of sisterhood, which I hope we talk about tonight, is the generation that comes behind us. Because it's one thing to have the organization and to be part of this sisterhood, but we have a generation of women coming behind us that we need to make sure they understand sisterhood too, because I can tell you, I've been practicing law for 24 years now. And I see the sisters coming out of law school now, and it's not the same as it was for my generation of sisters coming out, where we supported each other through the experience. It's a little different now. So I hope that we can talk about tonight what it means to mentor the next generation of sisters.
Absolutely. And thanks for raising such a valid point. A lot of us are mothers, grandmothers. And so what we say, what we do are impacting a lot of us. Sometimes we're tough on our kids. Sometimes we're not so tough on our kids. And then we also have to groom them so that they can form their own sisterhoods and support other women and men as well. But for sisters to remain strong and keep uplifting each other. And so definitely I see that, in my own daughter, how do I support her and mentoring her as well, and her friends as well that come around. So we certainly will dig into that. Miss Natasha seems to be the quiet one of the bunch, but she may not be so quiet. Hi, Miss Natasha Foster, welcome.
Good evening. How are you doing, Dawn?
Fabulous.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you for having us here. My name is Natasha Ellis Foster. I am a nurse practitioner. I currently reside in Georgia, lived in New York for many years. My family is from Trinidad. Sisterhood means a lot to me, considering there's a few on the panel that I've had the pleasure of having as my sisters from as far as elementary school. That includes Karen, Alice, Kerry, and Trisha, who isn't here, but she's also one that we can also say has been a part of our sisterhood journey for many years. And without them, I probably wouldn't be who I am today. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we hope that you will get into some of what they've done to support you, to back up those words, so to speak. And Alice, welcome. You were the first in the glass room, as you call it. Welcome. Tell us about you and what sisterhood means to you.
My name is Alice Anderson. I live in Rockland County, New York, from Turks and Caicos Islands, British West Indies.
Love that place.
I'm a small business owner, newly small business owner. I also work for Arc of Rockland. We work with people with disabilities. I'm a manager there. Sisterhood means everything to me. Karen, Tasha, Trisha, Kerry, we have been friends for years. We're each other's kids' godmoms. We call, any issues, I know I can always call them, lean on them. They have been my rock through a lot of stuff, and I thank them. I love them to death.
And we are so glad you are here representing Turks and Caicos. So I was catching up with Alice in the glass room before we went live. And I was telling her I love Turks and Caicos for so many reasons, and a lot of people don't know about Turks and Caicos, but it's so tranquil, so quiet. I was telling her it reminded me of certain things from Jamaica, like on Sundays, the country pretty much locked down, you can barely shop. And I went to my sister's house and you can just open the door and go in. They don't really use keys. You know, it's just so nice and so safe. You can leave your laptop and go in the water and enjoy it. And your laptop, you come back and it's there. It's such a beautiful country. And my sister and brother are there as well. So I had the pleasure of going to Turks and Caicos. So welcome. And we're glad you can represent. And I think we only have one more person, Carrie. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on. I guess you made me the anchor, right? So I'm the strongest one at this point. Yeah, my name is Carrie. I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia. I was born in Jamaica, moved to New York. I have been friends with these wonderful queens for almost 40 years, and that sounds really crazy, but I've known them almost my entire life. But I can't wait to share some of our special stories with the world.
Awesome. Well, welcome. And so glad to have such a beautiful panel of women just to talk about sisterhood. And there's this video that went around which had a couple stars just talking about, hey, queens. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. And it's just uplifting and saying, yeah, you queen, you are that queen. So, you know, we were already planning this show. And it was just perfect because a lot of people were sending that video and they were sending it to me saying, hey, you are that queen that we like and we represent and respect. And I thought it was so befitting for the show. So we did post it if you haven't seen it yet. But I really prefer speaking to you guys than the celebrities because you're the real women that people can relate to on what sisterhood means to you. So one sister that I would want to personally recognize tonight is Miss Michelle Hussein, who a lot of you know, she works behind the scenes of the Caribbean Edge. And for me, she's such a strong sister. And I've been doing this show for a while. And in June, launched the Caribbean Edge Kids Show. And what this amazing woman did is she's like, Dawn, who helps you with the shows? And I said, I'm doing it by myself. And she's like, I got you. I got you. And she doesn't come on camera, but when I tell you this woman works so hard behind the scenes of both shows, getting the guests together, adjusting my crown, making sure everyone's lined up ready. And that's just a true representation of a sister. And I have known her for 20 something years. She moved to Atlanta. She's should be moving back to Florida. She's gonna kill me for saying that. But an amazing woman, an amazing friend. I can tell her anything and it's held in, you know, secrecy, and trust is a huge factor of sisterhood for me. And I want to talk to you ladies as well. If you can just shout out that special sister, and we probably all have a few we'll say tonight that just stand out in your mind as far as what they've done to adjust your crown or represent and hold you together on times when you feel like, you know, you're just going to give in. And that's what sisterhood is about. So welcome to all our viewers that are tuning in. And if you have a sister you want to recognize, please put it in the chat. We'd love to shout her out as well. So which one of these queens wants to talk about a special person and why they're a sister? What makes them your queen of tonight? I'll pick on Karen.
Well, I mean, I want to give everyone a shout out because, you know, being here, this is an honor. And, but my personal sister that I have to give a shout out to tonight is Natasha. This woman has been in my life for a long time, and she has been my rock, my confidant, my healer. And, you know, I can't even begin to describe how you make me feel, Natasha. You know, it's emotional to talk about it because, you know, even before we got on, it's like she reaches out to me every single day. We're hundreds of miles away. And no matter what, I feel like she's around the corner. And on a good day or a bad day, she she feels my spirit. She knows, you know, when to question, you know, what's wrong? You know, let's talk, let's pray. When I started my career, you know, I was frightened as a court reporter. You know, we have two attorneys on this panel here, and you know what it's like when, you know, to have a court reporter taking down dictation. And it's a stressful job. It's very hard. And, you know, beginning my career, I was a nervous wreck. But she encouraged me every single day that you can do this. This is what you went to school for, and you're going to be great, you know. And now I have attorneys requesting to work with me, you know, and I couldn't do that, you know, without my rock. And I just want to thank you, Natasha, and also my girlfriends, Carrie, Trisha, and Alice. You know, they've been there through thick and thin. You know, we talk just as much the same. You know, and I love you guys to death, and I love sisterhood. You know, it's meaningful. I love, you know, when we encourage each other to lift each other up, and you know, it's important to congratulate, you know, and honor people. It means a lot.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. I can see how emotional you are. Thank you. And that's so true, you know, with our jobs, just having someone saying, yes, you got this. This is what you went to school for. The encouragement that we're getting, and sisterhood changes over time too. You're either going to grow together, or sometimes you grow apart. So I'm sure we'll get into that too, because I've had sisters I thought I would be with forever, and you know, other people have stepped into my life that are more in the space that I am in and more encouraging. So I hail all those sisters that have had relationships, long-term relationships, because there are times when you disagree as well, but you will find that your love and bond for each other, there are times you can work through the crazy madness that we go through and the challenges. So thank you. Let's switch over to Miss Hilary and talk about Jamaica Women of Florida and some of the sisterhood there and the work that you're doing. We certainly want you to share that with us.
Well, the organization started as a place for women of Jamaican ancestry within 3 generations to share opportunities through networking, through personal growth and development. So we started with we do our annual women's conference, where we have Jamaicans from all over the globe. We used to do it in person. We did our first one last year virtually, but so we have all these expert women talk about mentorship and the glass ceiling and you know, personal development related issues. We also do fundraising. We have runabout every year where, as the name suggests, it's a big garden party. We just did the first virtual one, and the money there is used to fund scholarships. So we fund 4-year scholarships for Jamaica, kids of Jamaican heritage to college. Our very first recipient is Jamie, who was one of my mentees, and she's just about getting ready to graduate law school. And our second one went to medical school. So we fundraise for those to support those scholarships. And we also support a home for children who have been abused in Montego Bay in Jamaica. And not only do we financially support them by making sure they have school supplies and uniforms and clothes and underwear and all the things that a group home would need for abused girls, but we also have relationships with them. And Anne-Marie can tell you more about that, but we visit them in Jamaica. Well, we did before COVID. And we make sure that they have Christmas gifts and they have things that they need to be okay. So we also give out money here in the States. You know, a couple of stories I could tell you about a, you know, wheelchair bound person who didn't have a ramp at the house, and she didn't have the refrigerator that she could get in and out of, those kinds of things. And we raised the money and we took care of that. Um, we have stories of a woman had cancer. Um, she was basically homeless, and she wanted to go home to die, and she couldn't get there. And so we took care of that, got her home. She got her care in Jamaica until she passed, and made sure we paid for the funeral for her family because they couldn't afford it. So we do that kind of work to support where it's needed, and support women where it's needed. And as Anne Marie mentioned, the bigger part for us, not just the social work that we're doing, but it's the way that we rally around each other. I remember we all lost a mother when Anne Marie lost her mother. Even those of us who may not have had a close relationship with her mom, but she lost a mom, and so we lost a mom, and so we did what we had to do to surround her at the time. We have been through marriages and births and deaths together over the years, and I think there's no bond like having the people you care about show up for you.
And grandkids too. Don't forget, I'm a new grandma.
And yes, grandkids. I have had a grandchild too. We've had grandbabies. Um, you know, we've had people get sick with COVID. We've lost people to COVID. We've had you know, ups and downs, but we've always been there for each other, always. And I think and we also make sure that we include the next geners. So we deliberately added to the board a board position for a next generation, somebody under the age of, you know, some of us, so that we expand our reach into the next generation, so we can bring them along for the ride. And that's why I think um, if we're talking about sisterhood, we need to talk about multiple layers of sisterhood. And so for me, a big part of that is mentorship. And that's one of the things that JWAF is very serious about, is mentoring that next generation of leaders, because we have to make a contingency plan for when we are no longer in control of the organization and the next generation takes over, so that we have continuity of purpose. So that's basically what Jamaican Women of Florida is about, you know, helping women in whatever way we can. So.
So thank you for the work you do, to everyone associated with Jamaica Women of Florida, and for all the other women groups that are out there that are supporting, you know, especially abuse. That touches me at home. Why do you do it?
You know, if I always say, if not me, then who? If not now, then when? That's kind of, that always is in our, I think, at the background of our minds. It's, there's a need out there, and if we wait for the next person to do it, it never gets done. So we have to step up and create something that provides an opportunity to help people in serious, meaningful ways. And so I know why I do it. I do it because it feels good to give back. And I'm a believer that when you give, you get back tenfold. Whatever you give of yourself, you get back tenfold. So, and I also believe that when you find a way for your life experience, your training, your education to help somebody else, then you truly find your purpose. And so for me, JWAF was like, there are a couple of things I'm passionate about. The law is one, JWAF is the second. And I'm passionate about it because all of what I've been through in my life, and all the training and all the education and all the student loans, all of that brought me to a place where I could help people. And so I found my purpose in giving back through JWAF.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. There's so much that it does to your heart, to your well-being when you give back. And for people that don't give, once you start giving, you can't stop giving. It's just something in your entire existence that changes when you're giving back to people, whether it's women, kids, so I'm sure all those stories you shared with us tonight are touching people. So thank you. And I'm going to switch over to Anne-Marie to see if you have anything to piggyback on about Jamaica Women of Florida and the work you're doing and what that means to you as well as far as sisterhood.
Well, as I said in my opening remarks, just being able to forge friendships over and above colleagues has been an integral part of my involvement with J. Wolf. And, when Hilary was speaking, I interjected, I'm a new grandma. My oldest daughter had a son 4 months ago. And I said it to all the J. Wolf ladies, I said, oh, look at our grandson. And they rejoiced with me, I've been able to mentor I have 2 daughters, and the sisterhood has expanded. And I saw this, I have some Atlanta ladies on the web, right? My youngest daughter, when it was time for her to go to college, and she had all these opportunities in Florida. And one day she came home and she says, Mommy, I'm thinking about Spelman. I'm like, really? So guess what? I got on a plane and she and I went to Spelman. And I can proudly say she graduated in May virtually with a 4-year degree in economics. But I've seen her expansion of sisterhood from going to Spelman. At first, when I told them I went to an all-girls school in Jamaica, they couldn't fathom that. They're like, oh, how could you have gone to an all-girls school? And they went to, young people. And I said, yeah, but some of my strongest relationships today are my girlfriends from St. Hugh's High School. Right?
Yeah. Alpha, yeah.
So, I had a special attachment to sisterhood from high school days. So when my younger daughter was trying to decide what college to go to, and I remember taking her to Spelman, and I'm walking in the background, and she's walking ahead of me, and what I saw was like a butterfly, a cocoon, a butterfly just emerging. And on our way back to Florida, I said to her, well, what's the deal? She says, Mommy, if I go to Florida, I have a full rider, and she went on. I said, but I saw something connected with you. And I said, if you want to go to Spelman and you have been accepted, it will happen. And through her 4 years at Spelman, I have seen some sisterhood form in the next gen that has warmed my heart immensely. She's back home now, and I see where, although she's only 22, recently turned 22, her high school friends that went to UF and whatever, they have a sisterhood. So for me, I think I have passed that legacy on to my daughters to realize the strength of sisterhood. She has connected with some really dynamic young ladies in her 4 years there, but coming back home, she has shown strength from her local high school friends. And so as far as J. Wolf is concerned and the next gen, I am passionate about passing that torch on. It is so important for our daughters and our young ladies to understand the strength of sisterhood. Just last evening, I had a very intense conversation with my older daughter, and she made a statement that it was time for her to cut the cord because she's too attached to me, and I thought those were some strong words, cut the cord, but then when she started to explain to me what she meant by that, it's like, she's like, Mommy, every decision I'm making, I'm calling you. I'm now married and I'm married now and I have a 4-month-old son. At what point? And I had to say to her, but you know what? You have to realize that I'm probably your closest sister, so to speak. And so it's okay. And I just think organizations, even this format here, it is so dynamic for us to make our younger, whether it's our offspring or our friends or their friends, understand that, as I think, Dawn, you said it in the earlier start, some things men just don't get, they just don't get it. They think differently. And yeah, I'll say we love them and we sort of can't do without them, I think for me, I know I can't do without my sisters. I have some special ladies in my life that whether it's 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., I can call, they listen, we can cry together, we can pray together, we can crouch each other up together. So I am just excited when I hear, hey, let's talk about sisterhood. Because I think the good book tells us about iron sharpened iron, sisterhood, sisters sharpened sisters. And especially when you can be transparent, you know, when you can just be open and not be afraid to cry or to laugh or to just expose your inner feelings. Sometimes men can't get that, but my sisters, you get it, you know. And so Jay Wolf has given me another springboard to engulf others in this pathway of mentoring, networking, and just empowering us to be as strong as we have the inner fortitude to be. You know, together we're just rocks, and it's just awesome to have other rocks there to cling with. And I just love sisterhood.
Oh, so brilliant, so well said. And I just saw myself engulfed in what you're saying because I have had some sisters that cry too. I'm sure all the sisters know the sisters when you have men issues and you can't talk to the men because they just don't understand and you just need a sister to talk to set your head straight. So we all have those sisters. So thank you for that. And I'm so glad when you're part of a sisterhood that's helping, like you women have said, helping other women, and you have the vision to see ahead, like Attorney Hilary said, of the next generation. What are we doing for those generations as well? Because it doesn't die with just us. So I want to go to some of what our viewers are saying. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Joan Virtue Taylor says, life is like a train ride. Some passengers get off at a different stop and new passengers get on. Same with friends. Some friends will get into your life at a certain time and some get off. Not everyone is equipped to go the full journey with you. So cherish the sisters who continue on your journey to the end. Oh, so well said, Joan.
Okay.
And that's true. I can testify to that one. As I see all the sisters on here shaking their heads,
Yep.
yes. As you relate to it, and I mentioned it before, you have sisters that you think are going to be with you for a lifetime, and either you outgrow them or they outgrow you, and you find yourself on different paths. But there's always some sisterhood that just are with you for a lifetime, like you mentioned, through the tears, through the anger. And sometimes your bond is so strong that you have to get through those rough times, even when you disagree with each other. So thanks for those sisters that, you know, I have sisters like that they've upset me, but I certainly, my love for them and my bond with them is so strong that I still want them in my life. And then there are others, I just don't want you in my life, you know, like trust. I think we should talk about that. What are some of the things that makes a sister not a sister? And one of them for me that sticks out is trust and just honesty. And so if there is no trust, then I have lost sisters to that as well. I see Natasha shaking her head, so I'm gonna go with her. Everybody gonna sit still now, so I don't think I'm left. Natasha, how about you? Tell us about your sisterhood and some strengths or probably weaknesses that you've overcome. You're gonna have to unmute though. There
Okay.
you go.
Sorry about that. Yes, well, as you say, there are strengths and there's weaknesses in sisterhood. I've been very fortunate. I've been blessed. I've grew up with a few sisters that have come along the struggle with us, you know, together. They've lasted. Of course, years before that, we've had some that have fallen off, but overall, the ones that I've have, they're still there with me, and it's a good thing because, you know, they listen, they have an ear. As Karen has said earlier, you know, we speak all the time and she definitely listens. And that, you know, is an important factor to me because, you know, sometimes you want someone who understands, but also just hears you sometimes, even when things are going on in your life, whether it's good or bad. And that's, you know, has been a very important factor. Of course, trust. Trust is something that as a sister, you want someone that you can trust, someone that you can be open with, someone that you know what you say is going to stay with them and, not used against you or anything else. I mean, that's an important factor, and I can honestly say the sisters that I have, we've developed, besides friendship, we've developed love for one another. These ladies have been in my life from before I've had children to me having children. I remember a situation where I was pregnant with my twins, or even when I was having them, I had to have them go and pick up my oldest from the bus stop. I mean, I had to put all my trust in them with my child, and they were there. I mean, hands down, I called them, let them know I'm in the hospital, and everybody was like, okay. I mean, they just took over. They just did what a sister would do. They were there and they held on to my child. They made sure she came off the bus, fed her, kept her. I mean, you have to have trust. I mean, who else, things like that. You must have trust in your sisters, So yes, they've been through everything, good, bad, and different. But it's good that we have that relationship where I can call on them. Doesn't matter what day, what time, what's going on in their lives. They're there. Their ears are open for me. And that's a wonderful thing, a wonderful thing.
It is beautiful. They drop everything and come to your rescue.
Yes.
And just people you can trust with your own kids, because we don't trust our kids with just anybody, right? So thank you for the sisters that are there to drop everything and that we trust. That means a lot to all of us here. Alice is being quiet. I want to say this. So Oprah said, surround yourself with only people who are going to lift you higher. Mm-hmm. I think that resonates with me because, as I get older, more mature and life lessons, I think of the people that are around me, lifting me higher. And those are the people. I talk to some of my girlfriends that say, my circle is small, I don't want a new friends. Because the friends I have, I'm a little more open than that. I don't mind new friends because, as long as they're the right friends that are going to keep me motivated and lift me up, and I can lift them up too. So Alice, what are your thoughts on that or anything we've discussed tonight?
Well, I feel blessed to have the ladies in my life, Karen, Tasha, Trisha, Carrie, my sister Linda. Anything I'm going through, I call her. We talk all the time. She's always telling me to have faith. There's a plan for everything that I'm going through or, went through. I speak to Tasha all the time. She basically tells me like, you can do anything. Even though I'm the oldest of the group, I can still, call her and talk to her. Karen, I just had a death in my family and Karen was there. Even though we live in New York, we don't see each other all the time, but she was there by my side, thick and thin. Carrie, I love her, always can call her and talk to her, and I try to explain to my daughter that the friendship that you build from high school, how Tasha, Trisha, Carrie and I are friends for years. A real friend will always stick by you. So I love you guys, and that's my I'm sorry. That's my definition of friend, a real sisterhood.
Thank you for that. And before the show, I did not know so many sisters are connected on this panel, but it's a beautiful thing to see you all complimenting each other. So switching back to our viewers, Camilla says, all we need is transparency in order to filter trust that will elevate and engage the most amazing sisterhood, the end. Now, ladies, just adopt me and done. And so she wants adoption into the system. Well, you're one of my sisters, Camilla, so we have your back. And some sisterhoods are being formed tonight with these amazing queens on this panel. So I'm going to switch over to Carrie. What do you think about what Oprah said, which is surround yourself with only people who are going to lift you higher?
Absolutely. I think the motivating and inspirational part of a friendship is actually the most rewarding part. Again, it's the intimate relationship, it's the bond, it's the support. And why surround yourself with people that add more doubt or confusion to you when you could surround yourself with people that help to, uplift you and help you and motivate you and strengthen you. So I think that's amazing. I am blessed. I'm very grateful. These are my childhood friends. So when you think of childhood friends, you think of people that have the same values that you have, the same background, same upbringing. So I'm blessed, as I mentioned earlier, to have known these ladies for almost 40 years. But I have other wonderful friendships that I have also been able to blossom, friendships from high school. I have a different set of college friends. Just like Anne-Marie was mentioning, I went to HBCU, and my college friends and I have the same mindset. My high school friends and I have the same background. My childhood friends and I have the same upbringing. And then I'm so fortunate to have a few new friendships that I have created in my adult life where we have the same interests and, common things that are happening, whether it be work or childhood or children rearing. So I'm blessed all around, and I have strong women in my background, people that I can learn from, people that I could be carried with, people I could be transparent. And it feels good to pick up the phone and for someone to know you and accept you and love you for who you are. You don't have to put any air or any front on for these people because they know the real you. They know when you're not well. They know when you're happy. They celebrate with you. They dance with you. They cry with you. It's amazing. Alice is now my relative. I've now married into her family. I'm not sure if I'm happy about that or not. Yeah, after 40 years with Alice, I now have 25 years with her cousin. So I'm not sure what's going on here. But
We're still waiting for payment.
listen. I gotta see. Some days I owe you money. Other days you owe me a lot of money. But my friends here are most amazing. Karen is nearest and dearest to my heart because of how she cared for my father. And Karen, you got emotional early, and I'm not going to get it now. So I just wanted you to know I peep all that emotion in you. But Karen, while I was away in Atlanta and my father was ill, Karen cared for my father. She made sure she went to the hospital and she visited my father. Yes. And took care of him. Turned on his TV, checked on him, and gave me reports.
Now you're going to make us all cry. Come on.
I
know.
Gosh. And I'm going to get her for that because I'm not even supposed to be emotional, but those are the friends I have. Natasha and I are within driving distance from each other. And we connect on every little thing, and we're a support system. But yeah, these ladies are family, and it runs deep. And we're talking almost 40 years deep, and they're forever etched in my heart, and I know I am in theirs. So it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
As you make us cry.
Hello. I know.
Yeah, this is the transparency we're talking about, where you're free to be whoever you need to be.
It's the sorrow. Just blame it on this.
Sorrow.
Thank you.
It's true.
Wow, what a dedication. Thank you for that. We certainly feel your pain and also beyond your pain, your love and appreciation for Karen. Thank you, Karen, for being that sister, that queen. Oh my God. Tell us about you, Karen.
I'm not like a big public speaker, but sisterhood really brings out, a different light in me. And, these ladies here, they all serve a purpose in my life, for whatever reason it is. And like Kerry said, it's, you can call on, your sister. And when she and I talk, is like, sometimes it could be months and we just pick back up, when we left off, and the conversation is like endless. We can say goodbye like 100 times, and it's amazing. I love the friendship. You know, I do things because I genuinely care. I love these girls to death, and you know, I love when we encourage each other to do well. And you know, you're here to say, we've did it, we've made it, look at us, our next generation, our kids are growing up together. I got pictures in my phone with, you know, I look back and I see my memory, and just to see our kids together in these pictures. And you know, this was short notice, but I wanted to show the picture. And if I go back in my phone, I probably could flip through and find it. But it's a nice feeling, you know. I have a sister, and she's younger than me. She's 11 years younger than me, and you know, she was a little brat when she was little, but she's a grown woman now, and she's married with a child. And you know, I always wanted a sister. You know, I was 11 before she was born, and I have two brothers. One just recently passed, but these girls were my sister before my sister came along. And you know, my sister now knows, and she's grown with these ladies, that she can call them sisters. And I've, you know, shown her, paved the way to let her know. And I wish she was on tonight, you know, to appreciate the value of sisterhood, you know, friendship, you know. That's it. I'm not going to get all.
Oh my God.
What an emotional night. Thank you,
Yes,
Carrie.
yes.
Thanks for taking care of Carrie's dad. I mean, from all of us watching, I mean, that's amazing. And that's what sisterhood and friendship is all about.
Ooh.
Because you can trust the person to do what's right for your dad, and they're doing it with love and from the bottom of their heart. So thank you. Be the kind of woman who makes other women want to up their game. So that sends a strong message to a lot of us as women stand out within our sisterhood and community, just, you know, being that woman that other women want to be without them tearing you down. And so that's part of sisterhood, is just supporting each other and being there to cheer on their success, cry with them and everything else. So does that stand out to anyone? Be that woman that, you know, you want other women to be just like you. Miss Isna.
Oh. Ladies, I feel like I have been grafted into your lives. And I really am emotional at the stories and the love that I see displayed here. Whew. It really does move me to tears, because I have so many sisters. And what I hear you all share, it's not because of blood affiliation, but love affiliation. And I think a lot of times we don't understand the difference between family and relatives. Relatives, you're related, not really by choice, but family and sisterhood is by a decision that we connect on that bond. And my sister was 6 years older than me, and I admired her as a little girl. And I don't necessarily know if she looked at me as like, oh, that's my sister, that's going to be my best friend, because she was the eldest and I was 6 years younger. So I think like what Karen was saying, she's 11 years older than her sister. A lot of times that bond isn't formed until you become an adult. And so my younger sisters had become more my sisters, if that's where, not to say that my oldest sister isn't, but I had always longed for sisterhood. And so it became through my friendships, and I've had friendships since 5th grade and 6th grade. But like you were saying, Dawn, a lot of those friendships, sometimes you get on the bus and then they get off. They come back on sometimes, but sometimes not. And you can't be upset about it. You have to understand there's just a journey that we take. I'm sorry, you guys. But I am so appreciative of those individuals who are in my life like now, that understand my path, that understand my journey of where I've been and where I'm going. And I've had a very turbulent, but a very blessed life, in that my lessons have been my blessings, and sisterhood has come at just the right time in my life. Various stages, they all came at just the right time. But I have to speak of one sister who is not blood affiliated, and her name is Althea. This girl can make me laugh on my worst day. Like on my worst day, she can just make me just bail out. And I know she's probably not even aware that I look at her in that way. But Althea, she is a veteran like I am. So she understands what I went through as a veteran in the military. We just gonna be transparent with this, nose wiping it all. But the laughter that comes from that friendship, and we have known each other since we were teenagers. And I'm grateful for all of my sisterhood. But even the motherhoods who are like my sisters, those are just equally as important, because I lost my mother at a young age at 20. And so I was grasping for straws at anybody who would give me an ear. So when I hear, Karen, that you were there for Carrie's dad, I had a sister named Kelly who assisted me when my dad got stuck in the backyard in his wheelchair and couldn't get out, helped me lift that chair. Sisterhood like that is important to me. The loyalty, the camaraderie that we have. We don't always have to get along to be able to walk along side by side each other. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for each and every one of you here. I'm grateful for the love that you all shared. And I am not in your crew, but I feel like I am. And thank you.
Thank you, Isna. Feeling the love. So, Isna, someone gave you a shout out actually, Elijah. She says, Isna is a true friend. She spent the entire day with me at the hospital, 200 miles away, days before my mom passed. Thanks for being a sister.
Ms. Dawn, can I ask a question? So I've been listening to all that we've been sharing, and something occurred to me. I have 5 sisters, as I told you, and sometimes being a true sister means having the courageous conversations and the difficult conversations with your sisters. And that means calling them on their crap, you know, forgive the French, not just always being mindful of the love with which you deliver the conversation. But I don't know if everybody shares that same sentiment that I do about your responsibility as a sister to speak your truth and speak truth into being for them. Not, not judging, but if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everybody acknowledges, I'm just asking if everybody shares that same sense of responsibility for calling people out. Not, I don't want to say calling them out.
In love.
Yeah, calling them out from a place of love, because they are your sisters and you owe them a responsibility to say, cut the crap, get on with it.
Yeah.
It's a true relationship. So it's not just surface level. You're talking about depth and layers and honesty and pain and hurt and harsh words, and that's life. And sometimes it may be tough to swallow, but once you know the intent behind it, I think that's the important thing. When you know it's not coming from a place of fear or malice or hate or envy, but it's coming from truth. Honey, your health is not well. You're not going to live. Your child needs help. That job is stressing you. You have anxiety. Your hair is thinning. There must be something wrong. Yeah, you gained a lot of weight since the last. It's love. But there are some people that don't know how to show love or give it, and they come from a different place, and we must know the difference too. And they could be your friends, you know, they have a term called frenemies as well, where people are related to you or they're close friends, but they're not really doing things from a good place. They're just doing it because of the convenience. So yes, absolutely. The real conversations, and I'm a straight shooter, and my friends know me. I say blunt, crazy stuff off the wall all the time. And they know me. Yeah.
If I could interject to piggyback on what you were saying, Carrie, I think that's a very valid point that Hilary made and what you said. But I find that our generation or our age group, we're less honest with each other. You are probably one of the few ones who will just call a spade a spade. But I find that people in, you know, what I consider the middle age category, so to speak, we're tiptoeing around each other, and we're not being really honest about speaking your truth. And why do I say that? Because my my two daughters are 22 and 26, and sometimes I think they're a little bit rough on me. They just speak the truth, you know. They will just say, "Mommy, we need to have a conversation," and they are going for what I consider the jugular. And sometimes for me to accept that they're being so honest, it's difficult because we aren't we I wasn't grown that way, you know. We I was going to be more accommodating, and they will have those straight up conversations. You need to so and so, you need to so and so. And yet what happened? I might be a little bit stiff, but right after they're back to being the sweet daughters because they have spoken their truth. You know, they've spoken their truth and they're just being open and honest. Whereas I'm still a little bit uptight because, you know, they hurt my feelings, so to speak. And they're like, wait, you're still upset about that? No, you know, it's my generation, and I can speak from my perch. We are less honest with each other.
We were raised that way by a generation of women who came
Right.
before us, who taught us to be polite and not hurt people's feelings.
Absolutely.
And I admire the younger generation, the millennials, so to speak, because trust me, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, they're telling me they're peeling skins and they're saying things to me I don't need to hear. But when I sit back, I appreciate their openness, they're vulnerable, they're honest. And I think sisterhood in my category, we lack that. I think we really lack that component.
But it's funny you say that.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
No, go
sorry.
ahead.
It's
No.
funny that you say that because it's still the way you reared and raised them to allow them to be free so that they could express themselves. So we are a testimony of our background and our upbringing, and we are more private. We do hold our feelings in. Our communication is different. And I do have to give props to my other friendships that made me stretch myself and take that lid off. So let's say this was my only friendships, my friendships with the same values and backgrounds and upbringing. My growth is still limited. Although we may have a strong friendship, we're all the same music, same food, same everything. It's when you really expand yourself and you learn from others that you're like, wow, they're so bold. No, they're not. They're just open. So then we learn. So your children have learned, and you've helped them to learn, but their friends have also helped them.
And I have learned from them, you know, I have learned so much because I'm like, okay, you know, I don't have, you know, and I have had to go back in time and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, you had a valid point there, but it doesn't come natural. It's a
I wanted to interject, and I don't want to overtalk anyone, but I just wanted to say it has to be an upbringing or based off of when we were growing up. We were told that, you know, we're to be seen and not heard. But I will say now, that I'm getting older, and I'm probably in most of you all's age group as well, but I have learned to speak my truth.
Right.
In love, but I don't sugarcoat crap. I'm not going to, because you're not going to grow and I'm not going to grow if I have to always concern myself with walking on eggshells around those that say that they love me and I love them. It doesn't mean that I have to injure you. I don't have to be mean when I say what I mean.
Right.
But I'm going to say what I mean because I don't want there to be anything that will have you misconstrue what I'm really trying to convey. And it is going to be with love. And if there is a point in which you feel that it's not being delivered in that way, then I want those that I love to say, you know what, it's not, you could have delivered that in a more palatable way.
Right, right.
But we should have that type of dialogue. We should be able to have that type of honesty if we're really, really sisters. Because if we're not, then I can't really call you my sister if I can't come to you in love and come to you correct. Because even the Bible says God corrects those whom he loves. And correction is a form of growth. And if we're going to grow as sisters, we should be able to, like one of the sisters, I can't remember, the iron sharpening iron. If we're not doing that, then what are we doing?
Right, absolutely.
Thank you. And I'm so glad you raised that, Hilary. I've always been truthful with my sister friends, always hasn't paid off. And it's more for relationship wise, you know, if you're honest with someone, it doesn't work out. But I found that sometimes I have to take a step back to handle the hurt myself before I can speak to my sister in the right way to let her know what's hurting. Like you've mentioned, like coming from a place of love. So how you say it and how you do it also makes a difference as well to the person receiving it. And I'm a firm believer, if you're coming from that place of love and that person just can't accept it, and maybe that's just someone, like we say, your sisterhood, people are in your life for a certain period, for a certain reason, and you always learn from it. And then it's time to move on. But yeah, sisterhood does come with a lot of truth. And as sisters, we should be able to tell each other our opinion and our truth and help encourage them and uplift them versus tearing them down. So some truths tear you down as well. So do you decide which truth is the truth for that person? Because sometimes they're not willing to accept the truth at that particular time or ever. And so those are some of the challenges with sisterhood as well. One of the sisters watching tonight, Suzanne, her a real sister, she sends her husband to me as a single woman to help around my house. And that's a sister of trust, you know, because not a lot of women want to spare their husbands. But I can tell you, he was like sawing down some palm trees for me the other day in my backyard. And, you know, they're just a beautiful soul that keeps her tight knit of sisters close and trust. A lot of us, when you can trust your sister with your boyfriend or your husband, that's a whole nother level of trust too. So thank you for the sisters that respect relationships of their sisterhoods, because I know where it's sometimes challenged with that. And my friend Susan, apart from that, she's just that person that checks in on you, make sure you're having a good day, and just always a great person to be around, and we can have fun and laugh and party together. A lot of my sisters I can do that with. So some amazing sisters uplifting you and being there when they know you need help and willing to render their resources to you as well. So Susan, thanks for being a sister queen. I appreciate you. Miss Alice being all quiet over there. So one of the things that Serena Williams said is, the success of every woman should be the inspiration to another. We should raise each other up, make sure You're courageous, be strong, be extremely kind, and above all, be humble, Serena Williams. So a lot of that when you're successful in life and being able to be humble at the same time with your sisters, sometimes we often don't know how to do that. And so as sisters, we support each other through that. So Alice, what about you? Any other sister you want to shout out tonight? Anything you want to say about the conversation?
Again, I'm very, I guess I'm the quiet one, I think. But I don't think we as friends and sisters has ever been in a place where, things happen, yes, where we can't sit down and have a conversation. I trust my friends, my sisters, and I feel like, any issues, any relationship problems, anything like that, we sit and we talk. My friends, they say always, your friends are not always supposed to know everything you do, or, you must keep some things to yourself. But these ladies, I feel like they've been with me. And like I said, I'm the oldest, through a lot. And I mean, I have another friend. She actually is my neighbor. And I can go to her door anytime. It doesn't matter. There's always a drink waiting and an ear to listen. It's a no judgment zone. And I think every woman needs that. Every sister needs that in their lives.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So be the woman that fixes another woman's crown without telling the world it was crooked. That was another beautiful quote that I heard today. So anyone has a sister out there that does that, you want to recognize tonight?
Yes, Tasha, Trisha, Carrie, Karen, thanks for always fixing my.
I need to shout out to one of my sister girlfriends too, that we've been friends for like 20 years. Her name is Janet. And I remember when my daughter started her junior year, she got sick and had to be hospitalized in Atlanta. And I jumped on a plane the Thursday, just left the office, went straight to the airport, jumped on a plane so I could be there with her to admit her in the hospital. And, it was, she had to do a lot of stuff, spinal tapping. It was a very gruesome 5 days. I slept in the hospital, Emory Hospital, on the bed, on the sofa that they gave us and stuff. And Saturday morning, and this is what I'm talking about, a true friend, and she doesn't want people to know about this. Saturday morning at about 9:30, I got a call, and this lady who I didn't know said, "Oh, I'm a friend of Janet, and I'm downstairs to deliver something for you from her." And I had been there Thursday, Friday, to Saturday morning. And ladies, I went downstairs, and who was there? Janet. She took the first flight out that morning from Fort Lauderdale, because she said, I was like, "What are you doing here?" She said, "You need a friend."
Oh.
She flew that morning, got up at 6 o'clock, went to the airport. I had been there from Thursday night. She flew into Atlanta, didn't make a fuss about it. She called her friend in Atlanta and told her, "Prepare breakfast for me." And this lady had fried dumplings and all the Jamaican stuff. Picked her up at the airport, brought her to Emory University. And she just came there for 5 hours just to sit with us while we waited for some test results and stuff. Then she flew back to Fort Lauderdale. And the story goes beyond that. My daughter had been a tutor at KIPP Academy, in the evenings. So after she was released from the hospital the Monday, I said to her, "Look, just take care of you. You had already lost 2 weeks from school. Focus on getting yourself back on track. Forget this aftercare." That same friend called me one day and said, did KK go back? I said, no, I told her not to even try this tutoring stuff. And you know what she did? She said, so what was she, how many hours was she working and whatever? How much were they paying her? Do you know for the rest of that semester, she cashed out my daughter the amount of money she would have been getting had she continued her tutoring after school job. It, she doesn't want people to know about these things. But she flew from Fort Lauderdale, came and spent 5 hours with us at the hospital, flew back. And from October through December, every week, she would cash app my daughter the whatever it was she was getting weekly from her tutoring job at Keep Academy. She doesn't want people to know about this, but I'm talking about sister friends. I've only known her 20 years. I mean, considering some of my other friends, but I'm talking about no crown, no fan. She doesn't want people to know about these kindness. But you talk about true friends and, women like that, you wish you could repay them. But all I can do is try to be even half of a friend to her, the way she has been to my girls and I. Just a support, just a phenomenal woman, wants no fanfare. But those are just a few examples of the things that she will do. And she wants nothing back. She wants no applause, just being a sister.
That's
Beautiful.
amazing.
That is so amazing.
That is.
I want to shout out a couple of people. Um, my sister Malika, Bahia, Alumba, Deandra, Anissa, my veteran sister friend Kimberly, who helped me through the process of fighting for my benefits. She stood beside me, behind me, wrote letters for me. Um, I'm grateful for some Nucola. She's in Thailand right now. And various people that have just shown up, Alicia, Jamila. Just sometimes you don't even have to be in contact with these individuals every day. It's just, that if you needed to call, they're there. They'll pick up the phone and it'll be as if you've never lost contact. Karima, Shakina, we haven't spoken, but these are women that I know. I still have their numbers in my phone should I need to call and let them know what is going on. But I would be remiss to say, I know this is about sisterhood. I got some brothers that have truly, when I could not find a sister, like my blood brother, if he wasn't a male, I think he was a female in how he supports me. And I'm so grateful for my brother Derek. I had to say that. I'm sorry, I want to change the show around.
Well, we appreciate the brothers that are sisters.
I really appreciate the love. And Anne-Marie, that was so moving. I know y'all probably think I'm a crybaby. I really am.
Miss Dawn, I'm sorry,
Oh
go
my
ahead.
gosh. Go ahead. No, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say before we end, I think I'm not sure how long the show goes for, but I just wanted to say um I told you I had 5 sisters. They are my blood, they are my heart, they are my everything, my sisters. We talk every day. I have Andrea, who is my baby sister. I have Trudy, Frederica, Denise, and Joanne. Those are my sisters. And we've always been inseparable. And I especially want to thank my oldest sister, Joanne, the firstborn. She's a life coach and a therapist and a lot of things. And for me, um, she, when you have a sister who's a life coach, she gets you through some energy vampire issues. She teaches you about that gremlin you have on your shoulder that tells you can't do things, and she makes the gremlin go away, and she encourages. And I don't think I would have my own practice. I don't think I would have succeeded at law school. I don't think I would be you know, part of the board of governors for the Florida Bar. I don't think I would be on the Caribbean Bar board. I don't think I would have been on the Gwen Cherry Bar board. I don't think I would have done half the things I've done in my life had it not been for my sister. I know she's a professional at this, but she's also my sister, and she has gotten me through a lot of things, professionally and personally. So I wanted to give a special shout out to my older sister, Joanne, the amazing, phenomenal woman.
Thank you to all your sisters, and Joanne sounds phenomenal. Thank you, Joanne, for being a sister, a queen, and for uplifting another sister and queen who's giving back to all of us, especially our Caribbean community. So thank you, Miss Hilary, for that. Anne-Marie, anybody, as we wrap up, I know we're gonna end with Isna tonight, but Miss Anne-Marie, thank you again, Jamaica Women of Florida. So happy you could represent tonight. We need to get you off mute though, Anne-Marie.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure just to meet these wonderful, phenomenal ladies and just hear the different stories, and transparency has just been even more powerful as we embark on a new year. We've had our challenges for 2020, but you know, with sisters like what we have on this program tonight, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be great. You know, right now today is not the best day for most of us with all that's going on, but we're strong. You know, we're passing the torch on. We're building. We have had great relationships, and we're going to keep on having great relationships. Just met you guys, and I hope that we can have this conversation other time, and we can keep the fire going, because this is powerful and inspiring. And I appreciate the invite, Dawn. And I have been blessed richly tonight from all these phenomenal women that I have met, and hopefully we'll keep the bond together. Love you all.
We need to figure out a way to stay
I'm
in touch.
telling you.
I'm telling you, next time I go to Turks and Caicos, I'm coming to somebody's house.
Thank you for that. And you're so right. So, you know, all these shows that we do, we always bond and connect. And that's what it's all about, is how much we can learn and inspire and learn from each other. So we love what we do on TCE. Alice. Were you closing? Anything you want to say to us?
Thank you for having me. And I really appreciate what you do. It's an amazing show.
Thank you. We appreciate you. And your smile is beautiful. It just
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We have to unmute Natasha.
All right, yes. Ladies, it's been a pleasure. I want to, you know, also shout out to my other sisters who are my cousins by blood, but they're also Erica, Malika, Carla. They're sisters as well to me. I have my own biological sister, Lisa. Love you much. And yes, this was a wonderful thing, Dawn, and I appreciate you doing this. It really shows how we as women, we have a bond, you know, with other women, and that's a great thing, you know?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Mm-hmm. Shout out, Queen. How about you, Karen?
I want to thank you as well, Dawn, for the invite, and Michelle as well. She's not here. And to you ladies, it was a pleasure meeting all of you. And hopefully we could do this again, you know, to inspire other people to uplift each other and to the real definition of sisterhood.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And thanks for being part of this journey with us tonight.
Karen, you're the court reporter, yes?
Yes.
Oh, you know, now that you can appear from anywhere, you know, I have hearings scheduled almost every day, and I'm always looking for a good.
Oh, networking.
I like that. I like that.
If you put your contact information in the chat, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Because I write everything down in my little book. See?
Very good. Thank you. you. Thank you.
There you go. And Carrie, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. Anything?
No, I just want to thank you, ladies. This was a wonderful opportunity to share our ideas and to hear your beautiful stories. So thank you so much. I really had a great time.
Thank you. And I must shout out to Queen Wendy, this amazing queen. When COVID-19 hit, she's always been a great friend. And when COVID-19 hit, she went through and made masks, beautiful handmade masks for nurses and doctors and workers at the hospital and for her friends. She even made it for the Caribbean Edge. So we thank you. And she embroidered special masks for me and my children and very close friends of hers. So that's another sister queen doing things for us. And then another friend who stands out to a lot of people in South Florida, Miss Paula Haas, my best friend, and she and her family is just amazing. They've pretty much adopted me into their family, and she lives right down the street from me now. So our sisterhood continues, and she's one of the people that I certainly sit around with, have fun with. We party together, hang out together, and just have girl talk. We can sit around for hours and say nothing, and we can sit around for hours and talk about anything, and just know that our bonds are there. So to all the beautiful, amazing queens and sisters that are out there doing it and supporting each other, that's what this is all about. And we thank you for being a friend, for giving back. And like we've mentioned before, you know, our younger generations out there and what we're doing for them. So thank you all for your time, for the viewers, and for all you sisters that joined me tonight on this powerful episode of the Caribbean Edge. And Miss Isna is going to close us out with an amazing poem that she wrote just a couple hours before the show.
Yes.
This is the roots of sisterhood. Like the naturing of Mother Nature, we are the root of these trees we see. We are extensions of the branches that hold the leaves that represent our friends, family, and society. And though those we've cleaved to may leave, we are still blessed like the palm trees that bend with the storm, praying, giving up alms with outstretched hearts and arms, even when repetitively we've been hurt and harmed. Sisterhood, there is nothing compared. We get bare and we bear our deepest emotions in front of each other, even when we don't agree. We forgive quickly and show concern authentically. Through breakups, makeups, and breakdowns, we stick around. We don't knock off, but in love, straighten each other's crowns. Real sisterhood is divinity and operates in reciprocity. Ubuntu. I am because you are. And I want for you what I want for me. And that is to shine bright and last longer than the brightest Nova star. Peace on that, family.
Thank you. You are beautiful. And that was such a beautiful poem. And we thank you for sharing that for the first time. On the Caribbean Edge. You are an amazing, powerful woman. Thank you, Queens. Have a great night.
Night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.